if you don't have gold, and I mean physical gold or physical silver, you better start doing it now because the US dollar, although Jay is Canadian, he can see sometimes clearer than Americans can how screwed up our dollar is. So yesterday I panicked. Gold pushed 2000 US. I don't know what it is in Canadian in the loonie, but I think next stop is 5,000 for gold.
Okay.
And it may take another 5 years, but I think this here is a real gold coin. And the first one I ever bought was in 1972. I bought it in Hong Kong, and I paid $50 for this. And today it's $2,000 plus, 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 plus. And this also is a silver coin. This is real silver. I don't like fake money. And that's why this Vancouver Resource Investment Conference is important, because you come to hear about why, if you don't have gold, I mean, physical gold and silver, you should have some now. But also, is the thing is, you are in the industry, and most Americans are not even close to the industry. Most Americans are into paper like bonds and the dollar, US dollar. I started my first gold mine in China, and I took the company, it was called Mondoro Mining, and we took it public on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and we struck gold in China, in Dalian province. And I found out what counterparty risk means and country risk means. And that's what most people don't understand about gold and silver, where it's stored, where God created gold and silver are in some of the most dangerous countries who really don't like America. So here I am. This is back, I forget now when it was, and long time ago. I took the company public on the Toronto Stock Exchange. And about 2 years later, we struck gold in China. And the Chinese came over and said, "Thank you very much," and took it. So I want you to know that I was a billionaire for about a couple of years. And then the Chinese took my gold mine, and it was tough, I mean, so a thing called counterparty risk or country risk. So it does seem like gold and silver and many of our precious resources are not held on what I would call friendly soil. Yeah. So I ran out yesterday, picked up this gold coin. They come in these sleeves like this. And the reason was gold pushed $2,000. And I went, I think it's beginning. So like Jay said it best, for the last 15 years, there's been a bear market. Nobody really wants gold or silver. They're happy with U.S. treasuries and paper dollars and paper stocks. But now when you look at that hot air balloon hanging over there, after 2008, they kept blowing the balloon bigger and bigger and bigger. And now that little gondola hanging below is the economy. And it's hanging out of this massive hot air balloon of fake money. So yesterday I went, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for all these years. So I ran out and bought some. And what happened in 2008, which caused the hot air balloon to be blown up, Ben Bernanke was our Fed chairman, Federal Reserve Bank chairman. They printed, when the economy collapsed in 2008, they called the Lehman Brothers moment. And Lehman Brothers went down. My prediction is we're going to call it the pension moment, because pensions all over the world are empty. And every time Jay Powell, our not secretary, but our head of the Federal Reserve Bank, pumps more money out there, the more dangerous it gets for people. And when they raise interest rates, the stock market comes down. So I'm saying this to all the baby boomers, the old guys my age. If you're born between 1964 and 1950 something, that your pensions are gone. Your 401k is toast. And people are still saving dollars. And I think what's going to happen, Jay, is when people find out their pensions are gone, this is all over the world. I think the Federal Reserve banks, the Bank of Canada, the Bank of England, they're going to have to start printing even more money to cover, to make sure the old guys, baby boomers, have some kind of money to retire. So that's why when I saw gold top 2,000, I said, I better get off my butt, because the first one I ever bought was $50. So what I paid $50 for back in 1972 is now worth 2,000. What does that projecting forward another 10 years mean? So all the old guys, the boomers, are scrambling around. Our Social Security is bankrupt. And I think, but the majority of baby boomers, my U.S. baby boomers, are counting on Social Security, and it's bankrupt.
Yeah.
So as a Canadian looking down on the 48 or 50 states here, so just give an idea is that, again, I bought my first coin in 1972. I was a pilot in Vietnam, and I had to fly behind enemy lines. Gold and silver are God's money. They're put here on planet Earth. They're not manufactured out of trees called paper. And so someone's yelling spot at me. And I realized at that moment why Nixon taking the dollar off the gold standard in 1971 was so important. It just blew the whole global economy into this bubble, which is that hot air balloon, little gondola beneath it. And right now, I think the end is near. So that's why when we come back, we're going to be talking more about why I'm so excited. I love going to the VRIC, the Vancouver Resource Investor Conference, because I go there to learn. And you got thousands of people. You've sold more tickets this year than ever before. And the interest in precious metals is increasing because people can see that gondola is losing air right now. And my generation, we're the first generation with what we call a 401k. In Canada, it's called an RRSP. But basically, exactly as Jay says, you're putting your future retirement in the hands of somebody else. And our central banks are printing that. That's what just happened in England, right? They had to reverse and start printing again because their pensions were going broke. So this whole thing goes back to my generation. This who stole my pension, is that my generation, boomer generation, is the first one that's dependent upon the stock market for their retirement. Up to then, if I worked for Ford Motor Company was in charge of my retirement. But what happened in 1974, corporate America and corporations all over the world, so we don't want to handle the retirement of old guys, the boomers. So we're going to put it in the hands of the boomer themselves. But the trouble was my generation has no financial education, neither does yours really either. And they started saving money. The government prints it. They save stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. And as every time they raise interest rates, the stock market crashes. The average person has no idea about gold, silver, copper, lithium, all the resources that are required to run an economy. So Vancouver is going to be, I wish you had more time, because I couldn't get around to see all the other little junior miners out there. I'd be standing there in my little booth, talking about, I was pitching my China deal, and I was right. We took it public, but then the Chinese took it. So I think, when gold passed 2,000, I went, uh-oh, that's a lot. That's like when gold passed $50. It didn't stop. It didn't look backwards. And then it went to 800 and then pulled back. And then it went to and it's about to take off again. In my opinion, I could be wrong.
Sure.
But given EVs, electronic vehicles, the pumping of fake money into the economy, the COVID thing, Canadian truckers going on strike, provinces going on strike, and Canada, Mexico, and US are extremely rich countries. And you come to the Vancouver Resource Investor Conference to meet the little guys who are digging around the world looking for some gold or silver, or oil or copper to get rich. So for those of you with a more adventurous spirit, Vancouver is one of the most beautiful cities in the world.